How much can you do with a lathe before you need a mill? I feel like you should look at it like how much work can I do with a mill before I have to deal with having a lathe?
Are you ready for Yayhoo or Nayhoo?
Yes, sir.
Pulling random inserts from the junk drawer and trying them in a holder to see if they fit.
Oh, I've been there, unfortunately. That's pretty Yayhoo to me, man. Listen, Yayhoo is not necessarily bad. Yayhoo is a customer, that's bad. If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find a different room.
I thought I was an excellent programmer. I walked into that next shop and holy shit, that was an eye-opener to me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Impractical Machinist podcast. My name is Patrick. You can find me on Instagram as @JobShopperTN. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we'd appreciate a 5-star rating.
I'm Bradley with Marvel Machining. Also, if you're on YouTube, be sure to give us a like and subscribe to the Practical Machinist YouTube channel.
On this episode, we're giving some shop updates, tackling a few Instagram questions, and Brad and I are going to have a discussion on what makes or breaks the success of a startup machine shop.
Busy times. You guys busy? You guys picking up?
Dude. Yeah, it's so weird. The whole time I've been there, we've been slow. Like Thursday, we got slammed. We got like 4 or 5 orders on one day, and it just keeps coming. We keep getting quotes. We keep getting things we got to design, all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. And we're gonna have a hard time handling it all. It's gonna be a lot for the two of us and 3 machines. But
You're going to have to start working 5 days a week.
no, I really don't want to do that. We actually, we are looking at shifting our schedules around a little bit. I'm probably going to start being off on Mondays and working Fridays, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it is what it is. I still get a 3-day weekend, so I guess it doesn't matter. But it might be temporary too, because you never know. It might dry up after we get through this one big order that we have. You never know.
I've been busy. I had a sales rep in here earlier this week, and he said a lot of shops are slow right now. It seems like it's hit or miss though.
It's been that way all year, man. It's so weird because some shops are slow, a few shops were busy, but excuse me. I don't know, in this area, hardly anybody's busy.
Really?
Yeah.
I got one customer I've been doing work for him for years. I usually don't hear from him in the summer, and then come like right about October, November, I'll get like one RFQ from him. I'll quote it, and I'll get the whole RFQ, and then that following week I'll get like 6 in a row. And it started. I got an RFQ from them on Monday, and then I got another one today. Or I got a PO on Monday, and I got another one today, and then I got an RFQ today, and they told me another one's coming tomorrow. So now I'm like, shit, I got things to do, right?
Yeah, it's actually kind of hard to go from not having hardly anything to, having a good bit of work, because it's almost like you forget how to handle a big workload.
Yeah.
I've seen that all my career is like, you go through a slow stretch and then you get really not even slammed. You just get a good bit of work at one time, and it's like, oh God, what do I do? I can't just get by with one part a week now.
Right? I get that feeling. It's like I just got it, and this first PO I'm working on right now, there's like 105 parts. I think there's like 25 unique part numbers on it.
Oh
So
boy.
it's like, oh, now I gotta like actually do a lot of parts. I was kind of getting used to doing 1 part, 2 parts a week that had long run times, setups, fixtures.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna be that quick, sticking in a part that's got features on all 6 sides, flip, rotate. Well, I don't know, maybe I won't have to pretty quick here. Maybe I can get 5 sides done in one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Got that UMC 750 coming next week.
That's really
So,
exciting, man.
yeah.
That's gonna
We'll
be
see.
killer.
I should have it by the time this podcast comes out. We'll see though.
I hope so.
It should have been here this week, but they had to order shipping brackets or something. I don't know.
Mm.
It came, so it showed up. I got an email a week and a half ago on a Friday, and they were advertising the machine, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of a good price. So I emailed them. I'm like, hey, will you take this? And I lowballed, and they accepted it. And I'm like, God, now I got to buy a machine.
Oh, wow. You lucky dog.
I mean, we
Man.
went back and forth over like $1,000 twice, but so I didn't go look at it either. So I have no idea. I called them. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna fly down to Texas. I want to take a look at it. And she's like, well, we don't have time. They were trying to get it sold before it went from Texas to their facility in California. They just wanted to ship direct. And I was like, I'm not comfortable doing that. Like, I need to go look at it. This is a lot of money to spend. And she offered me they're giving me a 10-day warranty period. So once it shows up, I got 10 days to get a tech out here, run through everything, make sure nothing's wrong with it. If there's something wrong, they'll cover whatever cost it is to fix it. And then I got 20 days full refund return obligation. So
I'll be darned.
I'm not too concerned now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's
but it's
pretty
still
awesome.
if there's something major wrong with it, I can renegotiate. So, but it's only got 3,000 hours on it. So
That's not bad at all. Yeah,
no,
it's like a 2016?
16, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad for almost a 10-year-old machine.
Yeah.
Huh. I meant to ask you how much was shipping to get it from there to Minnesota?
That was included in the sale.
Okay.
So that was shipping
That's
was
nice.
included. So I have to have a forklift here to unload it. That's it. So
Gotcha. Okay, that's
I
nice
don't know
because
if I need to unload it myself. We'll see. Probably not though. If I do, I'll record it.
yeah. Oh, but I mean, moving machines is kind of a scary business anyway, man. Especially, I'm sure UMC is a little bit heavier than like a VF2, you know?
Yeah, I think they got it weighted at 14.5.
I figured it'd be more than that.
Yeah, I did too. So
It's not terrible,
no.
but when you start getting up into like the 20,000, 25,000 pound, like your horizontal or our horizontal, almost 30.
Yeah. Yeah, the horizontal, I moved that once and it was sketchy because it's heavier on one side than the other, and I had to adjust the forks a few times just and pick it up, and you could kind of see it kind of tipping. At least the UMC is kind of a box.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Yeah, so I know they're picking it up. What's today? Today's Wednesday. They're picking it up on Friday, and they said they'd be here Monday. October 27th, they'll be here.
Sweet.
So, shit, maybe I'll get that thing plugged in and I'll just run this job on it, and we'll see how long it takes to crash.
Well, it's definitely the more axes you add, it's an exponential increase in how many crashes you can have. Have you ever messed with a 5-axis before?
Trunnion,
Yeah.
not a true, yeah.
Gotcha.
But that was, God, that was 15 years ago now.
They had them back
Yeah.
then?
Yeah, they had them back then. It was just prepositional shit though. So
Oh, it actually couldn't do like full 5 contour?
it probably could have, but we never did it. We were just
Oh.
using it for prepositional stuff, production stuff.
To be honest, man, we've got the TR 160 on our VF4. That's really all. We use it to position one rotary axis and then turn the other. I don't think I've ever done anything actual like all 5 or
Yeah.
even B and or A and C moving at the same time.
Yeah.
Just how it is.
Yeah. I mean, I got some parts where I've done some simultaneous fourth, but I mean, there's been a few times where it'd be like, oh, it'd be nice if I could tip this a little bit more and just hit that, but I've always been able to get it done. But
It's cool, man. It's amazing what just having that one additional rotary axis will allow you to do and
yeah.
not have to have another setup.
Yep. I think I may have mentioned something about a fifth, but I've never actually thought I'd buy one. It's just never something that has crossed my mind to buy. So it'll be interesting. And I got to move everything. I got to move my turn-in center, my VF2 and my VF3 out. I got to rearrange everything. I think I might be able to shift some stuff, but where I'm going to put it is where my VF3 is. So I got to turn that all the way around and move it across the shop. And then I need another building.
You started on one.
Yeah, I think I'm running out of time. It's too cold now to get concrete poured. But I got it all dug out, ready to go. We'll see. I mean, it still might happen. I'm going to get the forms up hopefully this weekend. And then I'm going to throw it out to a couple concrete guys and say, if you got a week that is nice enough to come pour.
Mm-hmm. That'd be good. So, speaking of building,
yeah, you finally at home. You don't have to drive into the shop now.
Yep. Finally got set up at home.
His wife on the other side of the camera watching you laughing?
No. No, but she would be. No, she's on the other wall over here, probably watching TV.
Oh.
So we're, I mean, this is going to be a work in progress. I want to keep making this like a nice area. You know, I want to work on the lighting and stuff like that for the, 2 people that actually watch the video. But I got to paint it and stuff like that. We're so close to being able to really move in, man. I can't wait. Basically, just waiting on. I've been working on laying flooring last weekend. That's a job, man.
Laying floor?
Yes, just getting up and down all day long, being on your knees, laying on the floor. It's a job.
That's what I would do if I wasn't a machinist. I'd lay floor.
Really?
Yeah. Hardwood, real hardwood though, not
this fake stuff.
I got all the tools for it. I told myself someday I'm going to do it. Marble hardwood.
That actually would be cool. I mean, there's a demand for folks like that, man. I mean, the trades, all of them need people, electricians, carpenters, just general handymen. It's all needed. All that is really holding me up for moving in is I got to get the floor laid so that my contractor can finish the plumbing, set toilets and mainly set toilets really, and finish the bathtub and shower. There's a tiny little bit of electrical to finish before we can get our final inspection. It's probably like a day's worth of work. And I mean, when we move in, it's not going to be done, right? It's still going to be, I'm still going to need trim, still going to need kitchen cabinets. I haven't got that yet, but that's really about it.
Yeah.
And some little touch-ups here and there, and that'll be it. So I'm hoping. My contractor had some family business he had to attend to this week, so he won't be back till next week. But I'm still hoping by the end of this month we can be staying in here.
I had to do a slideshow for our high school football, and I had like 8 hours into doing it. It was a nightmare. It was a pain in the ass. And I just did, it was a 15-minute slideshow. There were some videos in there, but it was all pictures. But trying to get it all in there and then put music in it. And I struggled with the music side of things because of copyright shit. I went from using 3 different softwares to try to make it work. Oh, it was not fun.
Dude, give our Instagram fans a little behind the scenes here. I do my Yayhoo video usually every Wednesday. I missed today because I was just too busy and didn't care. It's actually a lot of work. It's not as easy as just throwing crap together and hitting post. It's you gotta find the right pictures or take the right pictures. You gotta blend it all together, find the music, time everything with, in my case, I've got my voiceover, then I've got to add in the text and time it with the voiceover. I mean, it can take 15 to 30 minutes, to make a 30-second video. It's crazy. And I'm not that good at it. I'm sure a professional, like our editor, she could do it in, 10 seconds. But
yeah, it's crazy.
I think that's why you don't see a lot of machine shops that have like really good video editing, social presence, that kind of thing. Because you almost have to have an actual, what would you call that? I mean, an editor, whatever you'd call that on staff
Yeah.
to handle that stuff. Because the
Well, I think
best
it
I can
was
do is clips with my phone.
Mark from Haas that does the tip of the day
Yeah.
podcast. I don't know what podcast he was on recently. I listened to it. It was a while ago.
Mm.
But I thought he said something crazy like it's an hour of editing per minute of video or something crazy like that.
I could see it. I
Yeah.
really can. Because, I mean, the Haas tip of the day videos are top notch. I could definitely see that. If anybody happens to know Mark Derryberry, we'd like to we'd like to have a talk with him.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get him on here one day.
Yeah. That'd be cool. You want to get into some questions?
Yeah, sure thing, Brad. How much can you do with a lathe before you need a mill?
I think are you sure that's what he meant to say? It's not flipped around?
I know, right? I feel like you should look at it like how much work can I do with a mill before I have to deal with having a lathe?
Yeah. You don't need a lathe for anything. Nobody needs a lathe.
No, lathes are dumb. I've gone full blown millbilly, man, since I've started at this job because our Bridgeport lathe is just not great. If they had a decent manual lathe, I probably wouldn't look at it that way. But I just something about that thing just drives me nuts. And so I've done some silly uh, millbilly jobs before. I mean, just making a straight up bushing, or a bolt on the mill. It's whatever gets the job done quicker.
Yep. I do a lot of stuff that would be good on a lathe in my mill. And I have a lathe. I just don't want to turn it on.
Are you even going to hook it back up once you move it for your
Oh, I don't know.
UMC?
Probably not. This will be the second time that I'll move it and it'll sit disconnected for a long period of time.
Yeah, I guarantee it.
We'll see.
Yeah,
That
you
would
can
be
do it.
something I wouldn't mind getting rid of is my VF2 and my lathes.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do a raffle. $20 ticket.
There you go. There you go. That can be our next giveaway. The problem is with giveaways, I always have to scale, right? So we went from a deadbolt hammer and a calculator to the indicator clock, and then we're going to give away machines. So I don't know what's after that. I guess a brand new, Harmony or something. I don't know.
Brand new Lamborghini.
Yeah, that'd be cool too.
$20 tickets or 50 for both machines. Huh. Wonder how many people would buy a raffle ticket. You got to pay for moving now.
Yeah. Oh man.
Nope. If enough raffle tickets sell, I'll throw in the delivery. You got to get it unloaded. Well, yeah, you could just buy a raffle ticket and you don't have to buy the machine. No IOU needed.
You put it like that. How many tickets
You can
would I
buy
have?
more than one raffle ticket.
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking how many tickets could I buy instead of just paying you the appropriate amount? I'll have to crunch those numbers. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
how
Back
much can you do with a lathe before you need a mill?
yeah, back to this question. I
I think it
mean,
depends on the lathe you have. I
yeah,
never ran one with live tooling, but I know with live tooling, you can get a lot of shit done in there.
you can. You definitely can. I mean, I'll say like once you get past 3 to 4 times diameter length on like a shaft or a pin or something, just like with milling in general, I mean, that's when you start to get tricky.
Yeah.
And so if you're doing any kind of shaft work or anything like that, yeah, I mean, a lathe kind of is necessary. Um, like for us, most of what we use our Bridgeport lathe for is making what they call rod mandrels, I think is what they call them. It's just a 6-inch long piece of usually bronze, the ID of a piece of pipe or tube or whatever the customer's bending goes in to support the tube and keep it from crushing when it gets bent. That's most of what we use that for, is making those. It's part of almost every die set that we make is a mandrel. But that's really it. That and maybe the occasional bend post, which is basically just a shaft with threads on it that holds everything down on a bender. That's kind of it. But like those are parts that you really realistically couldn't make on a mill, or it would not be efficient, put it like that.
Yeah.
But then if you look at making a bushing, a lot of it is in how tooled up are you as well. That's where we struggle in general, but also with, excuse me, with that lathe, we have very little tooling for it as far as like drills, boring bars, drill ID tool holders, things like that. So when it comes to like if I want to make, let's say, a spacer or some kind, like just imagine a really thick washer, it is so much easier to just throw a piece of steel in the mill, hog it all out with one tool, flip it over, hold it with a V block, cut the back off, and I'm done. Instead of finding a piece of round bar, turning it, struggling with the tailstock. It's because the way that lathe is constructed, getting to the tailstock past the door is a huge pain in the butt. And then the cutoff tool we have for it's a piece of junk. I mean, I could go on and on. If it was tooled up better, it might make a little more sense to actually, make a part like that on the lathe. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We actually have
I would
some pins coming up that we'll be making on it here shortly.
I mean, I would say it'd be hard to be a shop with just a lathe. I mean, I know there's a few out there. I know a couple that, and they get by, but they're always sending stuff out for milling features.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, maybe if you got the live tool, it wouldn't make a difference, but
I think that is why you see so many shops that start with a CNC mill,
yeah,
because it's the versatility. It's amazing the difference it makes going from a manual Bridgeport mill to a CNC mill, because instantly now you have the ability to cut, rounds and radiuses and things like that without having to get out a rotary table or a Volstro head or something like that. And, now you don't need a lathe for little things like that.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, there's a lot of shops out there that don't have lathes, any sort of lathe.
mhm. It's common around here. Uh,
Yeah. I
it's
have one, but it's for one job. So,
right.
like, if I get rid of that thing, I mean, half the time I forget it's there. It's just in the way.
Well, like, there's a production shop probably 20 minutes from here. They have, I don't know, 10 mills, and I think they have one SL20 and a Swiss lathe.
Mm.
That's it. That's all they have. But now that Swiss lathe runs nonstop. That's what it's made for. Their
Yeah.
SL20, I think they do run it a good bit on like lower volume stuff, and it's a live tool lathe as well. The thing with live tooling, unless you spend a ton of money tooling up for it, it's not uh it's not easy or fast to just throw end mills and drills in the radial or axial live tools and just make parts with it. It's usually, in my experience, it's a little bit more involved because, you know, you weigh having to fight a tool holder that you got to hold with two hands and keep your tool from falling out of the turret while you put it in there, versus in a mill where you build the tool in a little holder and then you put it in your spindle and it's on center because your mill spindle is center. Whereas in a lathe, oftentimes center is not always center, and you got to tweak with stuff and fight with it and so on and so forth. And it becomes a pain. Uh, as always, there's no definitive answer, but if you're looking to do shafts and pins, and if you want to just be able to do a most like repair work, you probably do need a lathe if you're going for Yayhoo work. If you're going for being able to take anything that comes in the door, you do need a lathe. A manual engine lathe would probably be fine, and a CNC mill will definitely get you a long way.
Yeah. If this person's looking to buy one or the other, I'd say buy a mill first.
I agree. I would almost even say buy a manual mill before a manual lathe.
Yeah.
That's more dependent on the kind of work you're doing.
Yeah.
Because obviously, making a circular part on a manual mill is not nearly as simple as on a CNC mill. But for the price involved with manual machinery nowadays, you could easily just get both.
Yeah. You want to do another question, or you want to do the Yayhoo or Nayhoo?
Oh yeah.
You can
Let's
do that
go ahead.
without Cam?
I don't see why not. I mean, is there any questions about weldments?
No, probably not. I haven't looked at them yet. You can do another question though if you want.
All right, we'll hit one more question, then we'll do that. So Spencer, I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. Tighe. What's a good way for some of the younger guys to cement themselves in the industry? We should have had Cam for this one because he's like 15. Them young guys, you can't depend on them to show up. I mean, as a certified younger guy in this industry, apply yourself. That's a lot of it. Pay attention and apply yourself. There's nothing more frustrating for me as somebody that's only 31 to be working with someone that's, in his early 20s or teens even, and I'm trying to explain something to him and he's over here on his phone.
Yep.
Or I can tell by looking at him, his eyes are glazed over and it's just running in one ear and out the other. It's like, dude, if I'm going to take the time to explain something to you, I need you to be present and pay attention.
Yeah. I'd say that too. Listen and pay attention.
Yeah.
And just ask questions. Learn as much as you can.
Don't stay at the same place too long.
No, don't do that. Move around.
That's coming from, I mean, you and I are very different in that regard, Brad, because you did jump around and I stayed at the same place for almost, 10 and a half years. And I can't say I regret it necessarily just because there's not that many good shops in this area, but there's a lot of opportunity that can come with moving around. I mean, if you can get good somewhere in 3 to 4 years, well, I'll put it like this. There's an expression I read online a while back that's kind of stuck in my head. It's like, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find a different room.
Yeah.
And essentially, what that basically means is if you feel like you've hit your plateau within a shop or within a certain group of people, you should move on to where you're not the top guy. That way you can learn and grow. And hopefully, your compensation and all that stuff should go along with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I moved every 3 years. I mean, I got bored. It was to a point where I was doing the same thing over and over again. And it was just, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to learn a new type of machining in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So it was time to find a new shop and, get that promise that, hey, we'll teach you how to run a CNC or we'll teach you how to program.
Here's a question on that note. Have you ever felt like when you went from a shop you've been at for a bit to another, did you have to kind of start over as far as like the money you were being paid, your benefits, things like that? Or were you able to kind of come in and be like, okay, I do have some experience. I'm going to be learning, but I'm not starting at the bottom of the pile here.
No, I mean, I always got a raise, and I always kind of walked in doing close to what I was doing before with the understanding that I was going to learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first shop I worked at, Tool and Die, I ran manual machines, so I did components of the die, and then somebody else built them. The next shop I went to, I would start the die start to finish. I'd get the print, I'd have to saw cut it, do all the components, and I'd have to assemble the die myself. And then I'd test it, make sure everything was running right. So it was like every step of the way, every job I went to, I was doing more or in the process of doing more that the previous shop didn't let me do for whatever reason. And then from there, it was, I want to learn CNCs, but the shop I worked at, they kind of had a system where, they had people run CNCs when they were going to retire and move out. They already had people in line to move up. They kind of ran a seniority type thing, which I get, but at the time I thought it was bullshit. So the next shop I went to, I went in running manual equipment and tool room mill, but it was a bigger shop that had 3 shifts, and they said there'll be opportunity for you to move over to CNCs, learn how to set up, run. And that's over time, probably a year into that, I started learning how to set up the CNCs, running them, everything. And then I knew I would never get into a programming position there. So then that was my next step. I need to find somewhere that I can learn to program. And so the next shop I went to had that opportunity. So instead of building my experience in one shop, I just, like you said, I plateaued and then I just went to the next.
That's a good way to look at it, because I guess the thing that helped me, I'm going to say the first like 5 or 6 years that I was at my first job, I did have a lot of growth and I was able to learn a lot of things. And that's probably part of what kept me there, because I was able to go from just learning, setting up and running a CNC mill to programming lathes by hand and running them, and then a little bit of lathe cam programming, and then mill cam programming, and, surface grinding, cylindrical grinding, heat treating, jig grinding. There's a lot of growth just in that one shop, but I don't think that's very common. And I don't think that happens there now. I think it's more kind of like almost the seniority thing. If I think a lot of shops have this problem where once they find the person they want in a certain spot, that's it.
Yep.
There's not a lot of interest in letting them grow into something more, which means the people below them can't really move up either unless they add more equipment or something like that.
And to
'Cause
the
that's
question we have, I think I've said this before, you kind of got to force yourself into the position. You need to prove that you're better than the person above you somehow. And if it takes learning CAD CAM or learning how to program on your own time, watching videos, I'd do it. I mean, that's the shop I went to that I want to learn how to program. There was somebody in that position that wasn't going to give it up. So it was Fridays when he was gone, I was sitting on that computer trying to figure out how to program on my own. And I'd watch videos, YouTube at home, so then that next Friday when I could go in there, I would program a part, run it, and I kind of figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
And then eventually I took his position. I was doing better than he was doing. But I'll tell you, the next shop I went to, I thought I was an excellent programmer. I thought I knew everything. I walked into that next shop and holy shit, that was an eye opener to me. And I had to hit the ground running too, because I got hired on as just a programmer and I had to program for 12 machines, and it was a lot.
That's
I
tough.
learned, I think in the first 3 months, I learned more in the 3 months than I did in the previous 3 years of programming. Just things that I didn't even know how to do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you have to kind of suffer a little bit to grow a lot of times, and it can come from pressure.
Yep.
You get put in that position. I mean, I think really to get the next level position, a lot of times you almost have to oversell yourself a little bit
Yeah.
to get in there and then kind of make it work. And
Yeah.
and a lot of times it's either do or die. Yeah, it's just something I've been thinking about lately is like what's the career progression of a machinist? And obviously there's no one answer. There's probably 100 different answers
Oh, yeah.
to that. But it's like, you know, once you get to where you can program and run machines pretty well, where do you go from there? Do you start going into the design work and go more for an engineering route? or do you start going for like a quality control route? Or
No, you only go that route if you're not a good machinist.
very true. I can speak to that. Um, it just I don't know. It's something that's I've been thinking about is like what do you go? And I guess at the end of the day, if you can get to where you're running different machines or cooler machines, like going from 3-axis mills and 4-axis mills to 5-axis mills, or going from 2-axis lathes to live tooling lathes, or live tooling lathes to Swiss lathes, it's still
Yep.
you're still going up the ladder, I guess. I think we actually answered his question.
You got more than an answer.
Oh yeah, well of course he did. Pay attention, listen to what more experienced people tell you, and just put in some effort.
Yeah, try to learn as much as you can. Like I said, you gotta be better than the guy above you somehow at some point. Or you can just be somebody that is a machine operator and you just accept that as hitting the
Yep.
green button every day, 30 times a day. But I think if you got the drive, you can get places.
That's all it comes down to, man. You gotta want it.
Are you ready for Yayhoo or Nayhoo?
Yes, sir.
This one is cutting tools.
I'm
All right.
partially familiar with those.
End mill resurrection. End mill dulls out on steel, toss in the drawer, then later grab it for cutting aluminum. I've done it. I've had some tools that were questionable on stainless or something, and I'll pull them out, and then if I get an aluminum job, I'll throw them in there.
I'm gonna say it's not Yahoo. It's thrifty, because sometimes if you're doing repair work, you need a beat up end mill sometimes, right? You don't want to bust out a brand new one to carve out a piece of junk with manure on it. So yeah, I mean, I don't think that's Yahoo. Hoarding every single chipped or broken end mill that you get is Yahoo. There's no need for that. Send it off to scrap and get a little money for it. Don't have a huge pile of useless carbides laying around. That's dumb.
We're going to go not Yayhoo on that one.
I think so.
All right. One size fits all drill. Grabbing a jobber drill that's close enough instead of ordering the proper size reamer. I'm going to go not Yayhoo. I've done it. Come on, you've done it.
Oh, I've certainly done it. But I mean,
It
if I've
worked.
done it, it's probably Yahoo. I don't know, man. If it needs to be reamed, I mean, that's kind of Yahoo though, because
Yeah, I suppose.
a high speed jobber drill ain't gonna get you a ream finish. But I can't answer it with "it depends." That's too easy. That's almost one where we need some context. I'm gonna say Yahoo. If it needs to be reamed, it needs to be reamed. Or if you're my previous employer, it needs to be jig ground.
All right. Upside down boring bar. Flipping a boring bar upside down and running the spindle in reverse to get around clearance issues.
Oh, I've done that plenty of times on like a manual lathe. That's a lot of times that's how you can get the biggest possible swing turning diameter. You can put like a boring bar on the outside of your tool post upside down, and then that can get you out to like where you can actually cut whatever your max swing is. So that's perfectly reasonable, honestly.
I think I've done it on a manual, but I mean I've never done it on a turning center.
No, I have seen that's actually kind of hard. I've seen people. I think Derek Octane Work Holding did a video one time where he actually had a boring bar on the opposite side of his active spot on the turret, and he was actually using that to cut because his part was it's like a 10-inch chuck lathe, and he was turning like a 24-inch diameter. So he was actually hit
Oh,
like
it was tool 8, but he called up tool 1 because it was the opposite side.
yeah, something like that. Honestly, it's slick enough. It's not Yahoo. It's sharp is what it is.
I wonder if that's what this question was referring to. Oh no, interesting. Man, I would call it the wrong tool. I totally would.
Just
And
do it
then
on the mill.
the foot thing and let it out.
I know that's the scary part. I mean, now you can get Yayhoo with it. Like if you start the SL30, we had a galleons that we had a boring bar that we did that with. We put it in like the opposite side of the turret from what was active, but then there was another holder that went in the front spot and had a gusset welded to it that's stuck on the boring bar to support it. That's Yayhoo.
All right. Utility knife chamfer tool. Breaking edges on the bench with a box cutter when the proper tool is tied up in another setup.
I'm assuming these folks run mainly plastic. I'm hoping. Otherwise, I'd like to get what utility knives they have because,
Right?
golly.
I mean, I've used a utility knife on plastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Razor
Move 'em.
blades, utility knives, they work good. Just chamfer it in the machine. I know I'm the file guy and whatever. Chamfer it in the machine like a real machinist. Come on now.
Always chamfer the machine.
Yeah. Even if it's on a Bridgeport. I don't care. It's 2025, people.
Carbide roulette. Running uncoated carbide and stainless because it's what was on the bench. I mean, I've ran uncoated carbide and stainless. So,
Yeah, it's not a fun time, that's for sure.
no.
I mean,
I'd say that's lazy. I'm going to go Yayhoo. You're just too
yeah,
lazy to swaff it out.
well, it might not be Yayhoo on the part of the machinist. It might be Yayhoo on part of the management that won't buy anything more than a $10 end mill. So, but yeah, if you just don't want to go get another tool, yeah, that's Yayhoo. Ugh, don't do that to yourself.
Mystery inserts. Pulling random inserts from the junk drawer and trying them in a holder to see if they fit.
Oh, I've been there, unfortunately.
Just using whatever fits in there.
Yeah. Oh man, because there's some like APKT style end mills. There's a lot of different inserts of that kind of shape, that rectangular shape that will kind of fit different holders, but it's not the right one. That's pretty Yayhoo to me, man. I get it. If you have to, you have to. Yeah, listen, Yayhoo is not necessarily bad. Okay, Yayhoo as a person, that's bad. Yayhoo as a customer, that's bad. If you're having to make it work because you work at a cheap shop or just the circumstances that you got, it's not a bad thing, but that's pretty janky.
Tiny drill, big spindle. Drilling a number 60 hole at full rapid spindle speed without checking the surface footage. I mean, I
Well,
don't check surface footage for anything, so.
I was gonna say that's just standard operating procedure for
Surface
you.
footage.
I mean, yeah, if you're drilling, I think what is a number 60 drill? It's like a 40 thousandths diameter, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, yeah, most machines, unless you're drilling like something like stainless, you probably are maxing your RPM to get the right surface footage. But I still double check it. Because actually, I mean, when you're running a small drill, it doesn't take a whole lot to go from, the appropriate surface footage to way too fast. So, yeah, yeah, it's not like you can hear it, man. You can't hear it and tweak the little hand wheel to get your speeds and feeds right. It's just doesn't make any noise. uh, but I'm gonna say not Yahoo because I mean it does make if you got a little bit of sense, it's not that big of a deal.
All right, the Dremel fix. Using a Dremel to touch up a chipped insert or relieve a corner radius. Corner radius on a part?
I think probably radius, like if you have a sharp end mill or a chipped end mill and you want to put a corner radius on it.
I don't know. Dremels are sketchy.
Yeah, Dremel, I don't know.
You gotta have some steady hands for them fucking things. Try to do
Honest,
that.
honestly, if you can do that, that's not Yahoo. That's impressive.
Like, cause I'm always like holding my hand like up against my chest trying to do it just to stay steady.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I've used I got a diamond hone that I've used to try to hone a corner radius on an end mill.
hmm My coworker is pretty good at that. I think from just years of having to do it, because I mean, 25, 30 years ago, it probably wasn't quite as easy to get an end mill with this exact specific radius on it. So I mean, there's been plenty of times if we needed a certain radius in a pocket or something, and we didn't have it, and like for some reason 3Ding it with a smaller radius just wasn't an option, he would he would go to the bench grinder and just slowly work his way around the tip of the tool. And we don't have anything really good like a optical comparator to check it with, but he's pretty sharp with just a radius gauge.
Yeah.
And if it's just like a general, you know, corner radius for just strength, if you're within 5 or 10 thousandths, it's probably going to be fine. So yeah, honestly, I'm a little conflicted on that because I mean I feel like a shop should by this point in time, a shop should have a reasonable amount of tools to cover things like that, but or just buy one. But if you're the machinist on the back end of that deal and you're able to do that, hats off to you.
Right.
I'm not wearing a hat, but still, if I was.
One tool, many jobs. Using a 3/8 end mill for slotting face and profile and refusing to swap it out until it explodes. I'm gonna go not Yayhoo.
Same. I don't know any other way, man. Honestly.
I got my number 25 holder or tool. It's a 1/2 inch end mill. I face with it, I profile with it, and if it fits in a slot, a pocket, I use it for everything I can. That is
Mhm.
that is typically the first tool that I run on every part, and it does everything it can.
Kind of similar for us. I mean, usually the first tool I use is our 1 inch high feed mill to face apart. But after that, it's usually tool 24, which is a 3/8 4 or 5 flute end mill. Just and that's our rougher. We have another that's a finisher. Just go in and if it's slotting, I slot it. If it's a counter bore, I'll ramp out the counter bore. Or
Yep.
if it's just cutting outside profile, it gets in there and does its adaptive business. And I mean, it just works. I really think you got to be in a certain like echelon of work to actually buy specific tooling that's for, um, you know, HEM type cutting or specifically for slotting or that kind of thing. I just don't think that makes a lot of sense for most shops. Get general purpose tooling, but at the same time, I would still try to have some three flute coated end mills for aluminum, and then have your 5 flute coated for steel or stainless, but not just have uncoated 4 flutes for everything.
I opt for uncoated for aluminum a lot of times.
Really?
I feel like I get a better finish. I feel like they're just sharper.
I could see that.
I actually think was it Dave said that they typically are sharper because when they put the coating on it, it can roll the sharp edge.
Yeah, and I mean, on a sub-10th level, that does make sense. It's building up around the surface. I've always just had issues with, uncoated tools if I'm not running them slower. I just have issues with stuff getting sticky. I
Wow.
think a lot of a lot of the aluminum machining I've done was with extrusions, and those tend to be kind of not as good quality as like bar stock.
Yeah.
So they're a little bit gummier than normal.
Overhang and holder, pulling a 1 inch end mill out of the collet by 3 inches because that's the only way it clears.
I mean, if you have to, you have to, but my God, a 1/4 inch end mill stuck out 3 inches.
I mean, they got long reach end mills. I'm
Yeah.
running a job right now. I'm running it's a 140 diameter, and it's hanging out 2 1/4. I got to relieve 2 1/8 because I'm doing some fins. It is a
Mm.
fucking nightmare. It's got a 42-hour cycle time.
Golly, man.
And I got some quotes on wire EDM. I mean, they're still a couple shops I talked to, they're still pushing 40 hours for cycle time. So
Wow. I hope you're charging by the hour for that one.
I mean,
it,
prior to that one, I started the first one. So I had some issues with the first one I started running. I was playing with some feeds and speeds. So the first couple slots were fucked up. And then I kind of played with it along the way just to get a good dialed feed and speed for the tool to go through. So that first one I scrapped, but then that second one I started on Friday. I think it was done Sunday sometime. I just got the second piece of material today, so I got to throw that in there and probably let it run this weekend. I'll probably start on Friday again, just let it run.
man, I'm gonna say unfortunately that's contextual. If that's what has to be done, I mean it can't be really be Yayhoo, but like if there's another option, go that route.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I posted that on my Instagram story, and a bunch of people are like, it's time for slit and saw, time for slit and saw. Have you heard of a slit and saw? I have, but the issue is this part is 16 inches long, and I would have to reach. So the one slit and saw I found was a 6-inch diameter slit and saw, and I had to have a 1-inch arbor on it. And to get the 1-inch arbor, the tool, everything I needed, it was like $1,500, which I could have done it and it would have been fast, but I can hit start on Friday. I got shit going on. Just let it run.
Well, that and like how long is like how deep would you have to go with the saw?
I would have to reach in the Z at least 8 inches. And then the depth of the slot is 2.25.
Yeah, that's getting out there, man. I
Yeah.
mean, on a Cat 40 machine, that's pushing it. That's I hate this. My mind goes to that's why you got to have a one of the old timey horizontal mills in the back corner of your
Oh, yeah.
shop, with like the arbor and the overarm support and all that.
That'd be cool. Oh, that'd be cool.
But like you need it one time.
Yeah.
You
And that
could
was the
mow.
other thing was, do I spend the money on a holder, a long reach extension? I mean, the saw is a saw, whatever, for 2 parts.
Yeah.
Or do I just make it through on 2 weekends and let it fucking run? I even thought about just making one. I was like, I'm just gonna run to Menards and get a skill saw blade, like an 1/8-inch blade, and let it run. One of them aluminum ones. Have you ever used one of them? I think they're Diablos. They cut so nice. But that would have been Yahoo.
I
Or
was just about to say you're getting you need to put a John Deere hat on, man. You're getting serious Yahoo. Somebody sent me a video of like using like a 10 or 12-inch circular saw blade as a slitting saw on a machine. I'm like, golly, what are you doing? It worked.
yeah.
Can't really complain if it worked, but good grief.
All right, that's all the questions. We got more
Sweet.
next week.
Yep. And if you guys got any ideas, feel free to put them in the comments or message them to us. Um, we could use them. We'd like to hit at least 5 every episode. So
Yeah.
let us have them. We got kind of 2 more questions we can hit, or just one because we're already hitting an hour. So
Is this Instagram Mason Meyer lasers for etching, part marking, then part cutting?
all right, I don't have any firsthand experience with lasers, but the last shop I worked at, we had the fab division had 2 Mazak 5-foot by 10-foot pallet changing lasers. They were actually sick. They could cut through 1-inch plate.
They were pallet changing? How big was this thing?
Huge. They were massive, man. Because like I say, they take a 5 by 10 sheet. I want to say, I mean, the footprint on them is probably 15 by 30 or more. I mean, they're pretty big machines. They're awesome. I mean, I kind of have to get into the difference between the 3 different kinds of cutting machines like that. Because they had all 3. They had a plasma, they had a 10-foot by 20-foot plasma cutter. They had a 5 by 10 water jet, and they had the 2 5 by 10 lasers. And I think a laser is a great investment if you're doing a lot of steel or stainless. I really do. Thin-ish unless you get into like the, really powerful $500,000 machines. Because the quality on a laser cut is pretty good. Like if you've ever gotten, I'm sure you have, Brad. If you get something from like Laser Brothers or Send Cut Send or something, lasers usually do a pretty good job of cutting stuff if they're maintained well. You can hold decent tolerance. Um, the the biggest thing with the laser is obviously you get heat involved, so there can be some warpage. There can be some a heat affected zone. So like if you blow out a hole that's going to be tapped, it can be a little bit dicey to tap. Um, so usually we never did. They would not laser the hole, and we would actually drill the hole, and then tap the hole. Um, I I don't know about etching, but I do know some of the some of the lasers out there you can actually set up, and you can either cut with them or you can etch with them. Um, Laser etchers are really cool. There's no doubt about it. Go Manufacturing has one. It's pretty sweet. I wish we had one. Um, Actually, my previous employer, uh, they bought a handheld laser etcher because some customer that they got into started requiring like heat numbers and stuff like that on every part they did. And rather than try to engrave it and do all that crap, they come up with, hey, let's get a handheld laser etcher, and it actually works pretty neat.
I just got a cheap laser from eBay.
Mhm.
I don't even remember what I paid, like $2,200. I've had it for like 6 years. It
Mhm.
works. It still works today.
Yeah. I do think, a lot more shops should have a water jet than have them. Uh, I don't know what the price point is between a water jet and a laser. Plasmas are cheap usually, and it shows up because the cuts are usually a lot rougher and they got a lot more draft. But water jets are nice because they're usually pretty accurate and there's no heat involved. And I was actually looking, just out of curiosity, at some smaller water jets that can do like a 2 by 4 foot piece. Um, I mean, if you do a lot of thin plates, and if you don't have a good source around you, because you probably do, you probably got 10 places you can get, water jet or laser burn plates from. But around here, there's not that many. Certainly ones that aren't cheap. Um, so you know, certainly it's like a small laser or water jet was probably a good investment for a lot of places.
I got no experience with them at all.
Yeah.
I got a couple places I've ordered some stuff from, but that's it. I've done some. I got a laser. Can't think of their name right now. They build water jet machines. I do some parts for them.
Oh,
I
that's
do
cool.
I do one of their 5-axis head things. One of their mounts for the 5-axis. Pretty cool.
That is
It'd
neat.
be super cool to make that part on my UMC when it shows up. I do
I
it in
mean,
my horizontal right now.
it'll be cool to make anything on that thing, Brad. Um, yeah, I guess the main thing with any of those machines, a laser or a water jet, is like consumables can become expensive. I remember, mind you, again, the lasers they had would cut up to 1 inch steel, so they're pretty stout. But the tips, whatever they are on them that the laser actually funnels through, they're very expensive. And especially because they ran so much stuff on them, they'd get 20 hours a day out of them, running one shift. Uh, they'd go through those consumable items every few months if they were on the ball about replacing them. And it wasn't cheap. I don't know how much. It might have been $1,000, $2,000 or something. It's not cheap. Smaller machine, I'm sure that's not near as much of a problem. But same thing with water jets. You've got nozzles on those that usually have ruby or sapphire tips or nozzle orifices. Plus, they usually use garnet as a abrasive, and that's not cheap either. So you do have to kind of. It's really no different than drills and end mills and things like that, but uh, there's definitely a lot more of like a wear item aspect to having those kinds of machines. So that'd be the biggest bit of caution I would give someone that might be looking into them.
Yeah.
Well, we might just wrap it up there, huh?
You want to do the last question? You said in our intro we were going to discuss.
Oh, I did. Boy, that'd be mean, wouldn't it?
It would have been.
All right. Well, so this is a question that I asked Brad a couple days ago in a group chat, and I immediately told him, no, save it for when we record. So in your opinion, you've had your shop for, 10 years now. You've been at it. So what separates a shop from being successful or from never being able to gain traction?
I would say customers are going to be the biggest thing. Finding good customers. You gotta have customers that give you consistent work. Pay on time. That seems to be a big question. We get repeated all the time. How to deal with customers that don't pay on time. If you get a customer that pays on time and they're giving you repeat work, you're going to stay busy. But on top of that, you have to maintain that. You have to keep them happy. So you have to, you got to provide quality work and you got to get it to them on time. If you're not giving them quality work and you're shipping shit late, they're going to find someone else to make it. And I'd say that kind of follows with any business. It doesn't matter what it is. You need customers that are going to continue to come back and pay for your service, your product, if you have your own product. Other than that, I mean, running a business to me is easy. The accountant's simple. That day-to-day stuff, ordering material, ordering tools, it's simple. I know where I'm going to find everything. It doesn't take long. I know a lot of people struggle with that part of it though, but find somebody to do it for you. But get good customers. If you don't have, you can tell a customer to fuck off if they're not a good customer. You don't have to do work for them. I think a lot of people think I have to do this work for them. You don't. You can find a new customer if you put in the time.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense simply because we're in a global market that works both ways.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you just look at within the United States, because that's obviously a lot simpler, it's actually surprised me coming from my first job where almost all of our customers were within probably an hour of the shop. I think we've done work for one customer that was within an hour of where I work now. Everywhere else is out of state.
I think,
And
go ahead.
some of that's because we are in a little bit of a niche market with the whole, bender dies and stuff like that. But still, there's definitely, I understand now. I didn't when I was younger, but I understand now why, like my first job, the owners and the manager were so kind of insistent on doing work for certain customers, even when it wasn't ideal. Like it wasn't a good fit for the shop, or you know, we couldn't put enough time on it to make it worthwhile. I kind of get it now because it's a good customer.
Mm-hmm.
And if nothing else, you want to keep doing their work so they don't go somewhere else and find somewhere that they like better.
Yep.
You should always be doing the best you can, obviously, but you never know. They could go to another shop and like the way that they write their emails better, and
Right.
there you go.
I think it's important to, as a business owner, to network too, because your customer might send you something that you can't do. And if you can't provide them something, they're going to find somebody else to do it. And if they find somebody else to do that, the next time they send out their RFQs, they're going to send it to that shop too. And if they can come in at a better price or faster lead time, or they can just do something better than you, you're going to start losing work.
Mhm.
I think it's better to find somebody yourself to do the work, and that's what I did with turning stuff. I was getting turning quotes, and like they're gonna find somebody else. If I don't find a way to get this done for them, I could lose them. So I started finding turning shops to do the work, and I just source it out myself. I mean, some of my customers know I do it. They'd rather work with me and let me find somebody to do it for them rather than have to go deal with it.
Yeah.
And like you said too, I mean, we're in a global market. I mean, I remember thinking about this 20 years ago when I thought about starting a shop. I mean, email wasn't popular. There was email, but it wasn't used like it is today. And I mean, the internet wasn't like it is today. I mean, you couldn't get online and Google. I mean, I don't even remember what there was 20 years ago. Ask Jeeves, what machine or what manufacturing shops are around? Like that wasn't a thing.
Mhm.
You had Yellow Pages. Do you remember Yellow Pages? Are you old enough?
I do because I had older parents. That's probably the only reason.
But now, I mean, you can hop online and you can find customers across the nation. I ship parts to California. I've shipped them to New York, Florida, Texas. I've only actually met one of my customers face to face. I mean, I could
Wow.
be sitting out having dinner one night next to my customer that gives me my most work, and I would never recognize the person.
That's really interesting, man. I mean, that makes sense because the way the world is now, everybody's just connected through phones and whatever. I would not I don't have firsthand experience, obviously. You between all three of us, you're the one that's actually had a business. Would you say finding a way to let your business kind of run itself helps too? In
Yeah.
other words, like, making things easier as far as like a lot of machinists are not exactly, the best accountants, right? Or they're not the best at handling money or doing the paperwork side of things. Um, so finding ways through like the proper accounting software or, whatever, I'm sure that helps too because you're not struggling with something that is keeping you from making money.
Yep. Yeah, and it's changed. My wife and I own a salon, and our first experience at running the business was buying a salon. It was a failing salon, so it was a pain. Don't ever buy a business that's failing. It's the worst thing you can do. Um, but I had, we got into this, and come January, I was like, oh shit, we got to do taxes. I had no idea what the fuck to do, and I ended up calling somebody, and they're like, hey, you need to go buy QuickBooks. I'm like, I don't know how to do QuickBooks. And so my first version of QuickBooks was 2008, where I actually had to manually input everything one by one. I had to categorize it. I had to sort it. Now, I mean, you can get QuickBooks online. Anybody can get QuickBooks online, and it'll sort. You link it to your bank account, and I mean, it takes a little initial setup, but it'll sort it for you. It'll, I mean, it'll do it on its own every day. I'd probably say 90 to 95% of it is automated. And you can do that, and that saves you a shit ton of money if you can invest that time into automating it and not paying a CPA to sort out through all your receipts. Just let it do what it's supposed to do. I mean, I file taxes for 3 businesses, and I pay less than $2,500 because I have QuickBooks sort everything for me.
Mhm.
So I just have to hand that over, and then he looks at everything and does what he does, and it's ready to go. A lot
Wow.
of people are scared of the accounting side, and I would say it's not nearly as hard as you think it is.
I mean, I suppose not to oversimplify it, but at the end of the day, it's just numbers.
Yep.
It's money in, money out, and where it went. Uh,
And as a machine shop, you don't really have that much stuff you have to categorize. I mean, you know where all your tooling's coming from. If you're ordering from MSC or wherever you're ordering from, that's all going to be a category. I mean, and you don't even need that many categories. I do. A lot of people do it just to see where it's going, but like I got a tooling category, I got material, finishing, shipping, you know, and if you hop online, your bank account, and you see all your finishing companies, it's easy just to sort it.
mhm. Makes a lot of sense. So, kind of finding a way to kind of let your business work for you on some things so that you can be running parts. That makes a lot of sense.
And now in shipping stuff, you can order stuff and get almost anything you need in a few days. I mean, a lot of times I'm programming a part and it's like, oh shit, I need this tool. I'm going to order it. I'll have it here tomorrow morning. And I've gotten comfortable. It shot me in the foot a couple times. I've gotten comfortable with that, thinking, oh, it'll be here tomorrow. Don't make a difference. And sometimes it's like, oh, it's not in stock. Shit, what do I do now? And then I'm scrambling.
Yeah.
Where I know a lot of people, they got their systems and procedures in place where they're ordering tool in 2 weeks before they're going to run a job. I'm typically programming and planning to run it tomorrow, and I'm ordering tooling. 9 out of 10 times I get it on time.
Right.
And we're gonna have to have, I know Sean from SB Solo, we've talked about having him on and doing a kind of a machine shop business episode, getting more in depth.
I think that'd be really good if we could kind of just do an episode purely on, starting a shop, maintaining a shop, and the things that you guys would do differently if you did it again, and what you guys think helped it be successful, because obviously both of you are doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Poor Sean's too busy to even make videos.
And we got somebody, I think, in the works that we're going to talk to that bought a shop. So
Yep.
It'd be nice to get somebody on too that took over, second generation or third generation. If anyone's out there, that's...
Well, Ian.
Yeah.
I believe he took over from his dad, and I don't know that we really got into that a whole lot when he was on. So, I mean, that'd be cool. Honestly, have, Sean and Ian both for just a shop, and just let me and Cam just sit back and admire.
All right.
Yeah. Well, we'll wrap this one up then. Miss you, Cam. We'll catch you next time. Oh, hold on a minute. I almost forgot. Our tip.
Oh, your tip of the day.
My tip of the pod. I don't know.
Pod tip.
So my tip is learn how to feel. And I know that sounds kind of silly. What do I mean by that? Since I've been running machines more in the last, 6-7 months that I've been working at this job, one thing that I've noticed is how much you can feel through your hands of how your part is. In other words, when you put a part in a vise, you can feel if it's not flat.
Right.
You put a little pressure on it, you can feel if it rocks. You can feel it, you can hear it. If there's a chip under it, you can feel it. You can feel that something isn't right. And whether that be physically in the part, through your ear, hearing the tool cutting, or the machine moving, your eyes just looking at it. I mean, I guess in a way you could say just pay attention, but I guess it's just really struck me in the last little bit how much you can tell purely by physical feel. If you feel vibration, that tells you, okay, something's loose or something's rattling, or I've got some chatter, or just taking your hands and obviously be careful, but just wiping out your vise or your chuck or whatever your work holding device is, because an air gun isn't going to get everything. There's going to be a little bit of grit or chips or something in there that you might need to clean out. And I was always taught, especially if you're working on like a surface grinder, take a rag, blow it off with an air gun, take a rag, wipe it off, take your hand, wipe it off. And that's really how you can feel that it's clean.
Yep. I've always wiped things out with my bare hand.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you got something stuck on a rag that's going to come off too.
Mm-hmm. So that's my biggest thing is like, it does take some literal hands-on touch when it comes to machining. If you're doing anything that matters, you got to be able to feel it.
Treat it like your wife. Just feel it up.
All right. I'm just going to leave that one there. Okay. Yeah, good. Yep. That's all for this episode of the Impractical Machines podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the Practical Machinist YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. Also, give us a like or a 5-star rating if you enjoyed this episode. Drop a comment down below of what you learned from us or to share your own experience. And spread the word that your fellow machinists know about us.
If you have any follow-up questions, you can either DM us on Instagram, the Practical Machinist Forum, or on the Discord in our Instagram bios. Check out our Instagrams as well, at JobShopperTN. I suppose that Machining is cool, but he's not here today. And at Marvel Machining.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Keep those chips flying.